Hello everybody, this is Fred Quinones from qtheexperts at eXp Realty. Did you know the difference between a seller's market and a buyer's market? There is a very distinct difference between the two. So, a lot of people are hearing, especially here in the Florida market, that it's a seller's market, right? That inventory is low, that it's difficult for buyers to purchase a home. But in fact, a lot of people don't understand what that means, right? Well, a seller's market is, generally just speaking, we're going to talk at a very high level, 50,000 foot level, and not get into too much detail. So a seller's market, a lot of people get confused with the terminology of low inventory and what's a seller's market. Well, a seller's market at a 50,000 foot level, let's keep this simple, is that there are a lot of buyers out there on the market who are interested in purchasing a home, but in fact, there's not a lot of homes on the market, right? So that's when, you hear realtors talk about and use terminology like low inventory. Low inventory is not saying that you're going to a grocery store and you can't find diapers for your baby. It means that there's not a lot of homes for people to buy. So what does that do for people, let's say for the seller? In a seller's market, the seller has the advantage in many instances. And the reason being is because since there's not a lot of homes on the market, what that does is it makes it so that the seller has the ability, when there are a lot of buyers out there in the market frantically looking for a home, it gives the seller the opportunity to be very selective and choose the best offer that will suit them in this particular circumstance. So for example, if you have a few houses on the market and you have, like, let's say 10-15 people who are interested in your particular home, and let's say that you have 4 or 5 individuals who want to place an offer on the home, not only do those buyers have to have a sense of urgency to ensure that they make a quick decision, the buyers also have to be prepared to potentially do some things when it comes to contracts to ensure that their offer stands out. So for a seller's perspective, you often, in a seller's market, if your house is priced properly, if it's in a sought out neighborhood, if all the conditions work properly, you could have anywhere from 1 to 5 or more offers on a house. And in this type of market that we're in, especially here in Florida, what we're finding is that many houses on the market are going on sale, and within hours, if not instantaneously, or a few days, or even a week or so, there are several offers on the table, and the seller has the opportunity to say, do I want an offer that has a conventional loan? Conventional loans are very strong loans. You have strong buyers. Is there a cash offer? When there's a cash offer, sellers don't have to worry about things like appraisals, because the person is purchasing the house for cash. When people take out loans, a seller should understand that there's a need for an appraisal. And if, let's say, there's, for example, a house that goes for $300,000, and because there's 5 offers, someone puts an offer for $310,000. And let's say you accept that offer because, hey, it's the best offer, right? Strong buyer, conventional mortgage. The house may not appraise. So having a cash offer versus, a financed option is better. So the seller does have a lot of options, definitely does have the upper hand in a seller's market. They can dictate when closing occurs a little bit more easy, and they can cater the terms to their own needs. Now for a buyer in turn in these situations has to be very responsive. They have to have a realtor such as myself, of course, or my wife, or another realtor, of course, but hopefully us, that would be ready to approach the opportunity immediately, be in tune and watching for those homes that they like, make sure that their criteria are very specific so that they're focusing their energy on the proper homes to be ready to look at houses that they are ready to place an offer on. Depending upon how long the home has been on the market, if it just went on the market and there's a lot of fever to that house, a lot of people showing, a buyer really needs to be able to be flexible and be able to see the house with the realtor to ensure that you could see the climate of the house, see if you like the house, and put an aggressive or strong offer. If a house is sitting on the market for a little longer in a buyer's market, that's when you generally may have the opportunity as a buyer to then take your foot off the gas a little bit and then understand that not everybody's running to that house. There could be an opportunity for you to negotiate a little bit. But generally, when you're looking at a house in a seller's market as a buyer, you need to ensure that you remember that you need to put your strongest offer on the table. Okay? So now, conversely, we talked a little bit about a seller's market. Now let's talk about a buyer's market. A buyer's market is the exact opposite of this concept, right? This concept with the buyer's market is there is a ton of homes on the market to sell, and buyers, there's not as many buyers. So what that means is, of course, if you're going to buy a home and there's a ton of houses out there on the market for sale, you now have the upper hand as a buyer, generally speaking. Sellers are almost wanting you to come and look at their house, in the exact opposite way as they would be in a seller's market. Now that a buyer has a huge selection to pick from, now the buyer has the ability to now have the upper hand. The buyer has the opportunity to turn around and be able to negotiate their deal with a little bit more flexibility than in a seller's market, because they have the opportunity to be able to say, well, if you're not going to negotiate or you don't want to be flexible, I could go to the other 4 houses that I like, that, you want to know what, I might make an amends on this, but it's a good price, or they're willing to negotiate. From the other perspective, from a seller, sellers have to be more flexible in a buyer's market because they have to compete with other sellers. So in this circumstance, they generally do have to take into consideration if a buyer would like to have closing costs included, or a % of their closing costs paid. Or maybe the house is priced properly, but in order for them to have a buyer purchase the house, they'll offer a home warranty policy, or they may offer a credit towards appliances for an improvement on a kitchen, or any one of those different types of negotiating tools. So, in general, to recap quickly, a seller's market is when there's a little bit of homes on the market and there's a lot of buyers that want to buy, and the buyers, there's not enough houses on the market for buyers to purchase. A buyer's market is the exact opposite. When there's a lot of homes on the market to buy and there's not as many buyers, the buyers have the upper hand to be able to negotiate deals to get, so the sellers have to be flexible, right? In this particular instance. What we really want in an economy, especially in the housing market, is a balance. We have a fair number of buyers and sellers so that there's no, there's an equilibrium, But, once again, each state, each county could have different conditions. Here in our general Tampa Bay area and in Florida, there is a seller's market. So if you are a buyer and you are interested with such low interest rates that are here out there in the market, historic rates, right? Make sure that you're ready to get on the good foot. Make sure you got your sneakers on. Make sure you got the right realtor like me or my wife, right? And make sure that they're ready like we would be to, attack for you and get you the proper negotiated contract to make you the person who shows top on the list, right? So With that note, I hope this information was helpful. If you have any other questions about buying or selling a home, or would like to know a little bit about seller's market or buyer's market, by all means you can reach Nicole or I at qtheexperts at eXp Realty. We hope everybody's doing well, and we look to see you again. So have a great day.